Hello. Ohio. Hola. Tiganes. Guten Tag. Ciao. Ni hao. Shalom. Welcome to a brief introduction into linguistics, my basic study of all things linguistics related. I know it's been a while and I apologize for that, but things have been very busy, and because of it I just haven't had a lot of time. So, moving right into linguistics, here we go. Did you know that there are over 6,500 languages on this planet and over 2,000 dialects? I mean, it's no wonder we have so much trouble communicating. Let's take a look at the brief facts for a second. One, everybody knows a universal, and a universal, and a universal. Well, I guess they're all international, really. The point of the matter is that these are accepted forms of language, and it's called body language. Now, we're going to get to that in a little bit, but to start, let's define linguistics. Linguistics is defined as a scientific study of language and its structure, including the study of morphology, syntax, phonetics, and semantics. Now, recently I made the mistake of calling a new friend he instead of she, and I blame that entirely on my understanding of languages. You see, languages tend to yield not only differences in grammar, but differences in sexual orientation when a word is said. For example, in Spanish, male, señor, female, señora, señorita. The idea is, of course, the difference between them. So, take for example señor. Señor is very short, it's very powerful, very rrrr. Whereas señorita is also very powerful, but in its own right, in its own meaning. Male inflections on words tend to be shorter and thus somewhat harsh sounding, whereas females tend to have a much prettier, much longer, almost singing quality to their words. This can also be found in certain specific dialects as well, but again, later. Now, not only do words have different orientation, but they also have different meaning for the same word. These are called homonyms. Homonyms are words that are spelled the same, but have different meanings attached to them. For example, the word rose, or perhaps the word crane or pit. The rose is my favorite kind of flower, versus the woman rose from her chair. Or, I took a picture of a beautiful bird today, the crane was looking absolutely lovely in the wetlands. Versus, did you see that schmuck climbing that crane in downtown? Ha ha! That was enlightening. There was a storm. I forgot to mention that part. There was a storm. You see, the English language has the most homonyms that I can find of any language on the planet, and therein may explain why people have so much trouble learning the English language if it isn't their first. This is where particularly syntax becomes the most handy thing for making sentences and understanding what one's actually trying to say. Let's go and look at the definition of syntax. Syntax is the principles behind sentence structure found in any language. In Japanese, for example, if I wanted some water, I would say, boku wa mizu ga hoshii. Now, the funny thing about that is, in English it may seem odd because it directly translates to, I water want. So, I water want. It may seem, like I said, structurally different. As far as Japanese syntax is concerned, it makes perfect sense. Now, of course, if we were to say to somebody else, I want some water, boku ga hoshii wa mizu, that doesn't make any sense. It's now backwards. You're putting the wrong structure. Syntax therein is important for understanding different languages and thus being able to speak them and inflect meaning from whatever word they might be choosing to place. Body language. Now, I mentioned we'd come back to this briefly, and we're going to. Body language, for example, is essentially the language you can use to pretty much communicate to anyone. Any culture on the planet can recognize a smile as being something that shows either happiness or excitement or just joy in general. Whereas a frown, or perhaps an angry face, or something to the effect, might also display anger, frustration, violent tendencies. All these things are different ways that we would communicate with our bodies in any social structure. So if you ever run out of things to say, or you don't know how to say them in the first place, smile, or frown, or slump your shoulders, or wink. I like to wink, it's fun. Anywho, let's look at some examples. Hi, you're looking very pretty today. Versus, you look nice, I guess. Versus, you look very pretty. Could you spot the creeper? 'Cause I could. Ugh. So, here we are. Back to the beginning, talking about linguistics. Again, linguistics is the study of languages, and that includes syntax, that includes semantics. For example, me saying, hey, I think today is a really nice day. Well, what do you mean by that? Do you mean nice as in been very kind to you, or do you mean that it's very enjoyable? See, semantics are essentially taking the meanings of words and literally using their meanings. I have a friend, for example, we call the king of semantics, because anytime you say something, he'll find a way to say what you said back to you in a way that makes you seem wrong. That's not fair. I don't like that all the time. So I do it often enough. I think it's one of those traits of people like me who are just rude and wear bow ties. I don't know. Call me crazy. Now, I know we didn't touch on a lot, and there are so many different branches of linguistics, but I hope if in some small way this would at least encourage you to do your best to search that out. Look it up. Maybe I'm wrong on something. I can be and tend to be wrong more often than not. I just don't like to admit it. So, find something to prove me wrong on, or teach me something about linguistics. I hope this has encouraged you, and I hope that you have enjoyed a little introduction to the science of language. Please have a good day, and help me find time to make some of these. Question time. So here's the thing. How do you guys find the time? I mean, really? How do you find the time? I am to the point now where I am developing a time machine, literally developing a time machine. I am developing a time machine to try and figure out how to make the time to do these kinds of things. I mean, it's crazy. I want to do it. I want to make stuff. I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to talk to you people, but just time. I need time. And I need another bow tie. I like bow ties. Do you guys have any suggestions on maybe a different kind of bow tie I should wear other than the bow ties I have? Do you have a collection of bow ties maybe that you would like to show off? Or does your grandfather? Because evidently I dress like a grandpa. Who knew? Well, that's all the time I have. Literally all the time I have, because I have to go make dinner. So, to all of you I say good night and happy learning. For example, in Spanish, male is señora, no. Mizugaru. No, that says I have waters. Versus. Can't do that, I can't look at my phone. Why am I looking at my phone? Sorry, itch. I like to wink, it's fun. Call me crazy.